And that, of course, is Ashake with a song titled Johar. Oh my goodness. So I love Fridays. TGIF to the world is the energy that Friday brings with it. It is very, very amazing to just dance into the weekend and just vibe into the weekend and just enjoy yourself. And that's exactly what we are doing here today on Campus Drive. You know, this is where great music comes alive. And of course, educative information also comes alive right here on Campus Drive. My name is Faith, and I'm so super duper duper excited to welcome you to this week's edition of Campus Drive. Campus Drive comes your way every Friday on Bus Radio 98.9 FM. This is where we get to talk about everything happening within campus, everything that concerns students. If it is happening in the campus, if it has to do with students, then you get to hear it first here on Campus Drive. Did I mention my name? Of course I did, but then again, I'm going to do it again because why not? My name is Faith. You can call me Her Majesty. And I'm not alone in the studio. You know, there is no day I come on Campus Drive and actually sit alone to talk about nothing. I always drag a student into the studio with me. And today is no different. And as usual, because I love it when you introduce yourself, I'm going to let you do it. Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Your Majesty.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Okay. How is school?
Well, school is as stressful as it should be. Yeah.
Okay, so for the benefit, I mean, you've been here before, I know that, and I'm supposed to know your name and all of that, but for the benefit of those who are probably, or someone who is probably listening for the first time, I would like for you to give me a full introduction, your name, your school, your department, and maybe one thing that you like about school and one thing that you dislike about school. Let's go.
Wow. My name is Boniface, Kano Boniface. I'm a student of Eastern International Studies, Imo State University. Well, I'm in my finals right now, as God may have it. And what I like about school, well, what I like about school is that it gives me stress every day.
You like the fact that school stresses you? You like that?
Yes.
That's new.
Wow, and that's different.
Okay, so what's one thing you dislike? I thought that would come out as your dislike.
What I dislike about school?
Yeah, what do you dislike about school?
Well, what I dislike about school is that it also gives me stress.
Really dumb. All right, it's okay, and I'm really, really happy to have you, Boniface.
Yes,
Thank you so much for coming. Boniface is the name, right? I should go with
yes.
that. Okay,
Yes.
so you're welcome, and I'm really, really glad to have you. Now, today on Campus Drive, we are going to be discussing about, I know we've spoken about it here on the show, but we are going to go in-depthly into the information. Now, over the week, you know, from last week up until this week, we had a back and forth between the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME candidates Mesoma Ejikeme and the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAM. There was actually a back and forth with, you know, this person saying, oh, I did this, the other person saying, no, you didn't, and it was quite a huge conversation on social media. Lots of you know, important personalities took up the news, and there was just a back and forth. You know, at some point it became very, very exhausting for me, because I felt like, you know, this whole energy that they are exhausting on this particular issue can actually be used on something else. I wish it could be used on something else. I'm not saying maybe they shouldn't use it, but you know how you use what's it called? Okay, you use a rifle like a gun to kill a cockroach. So that was the whole energy I was getting from this whole saga between Mesoma Ejikem and JAM, right?
Yes.
So I was like, you know what? I feel like I get it, but the whole what's it called now? The whole energy, the whole investigation, the whole pressure that was coming from this whole situation was too exhausting for me to comprehend. So in case you have no idea what we are talking about, I'm talking about the 19-year-old Miss Mesoma Ejikem, a candidate of the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, who actually went to write JAM, and according to her, she she paraded a 362 score for that examination, a score that actually gained her so many sponsorship, and one that stands out really, really well was that of Innocent Motors,
Exactly.
offering her close to 3 million naira
Yeah.
for doing great in her examination. So, but then again, JAM came and they countered it and they said, no, that was not your score. You scored below that. Okay, so why are you parading that score around? So, according to JAM, she scored 249, and the lady came out to say no. This was what she saw on her JAM slip, and rather on the JAM portal and all of that. So, JAM is coming up to say no. If you go through the slip, if you scan the code, you're going to keep seeing someone else's name. It wasn't your name that was there. And it was a huge back and forth. Even the, what's her name again? Ngozi Ezekwesili, Obia Ezekwesili came out to say, you know what? JAM should do their research. They should do a forensic research and come up with the right thing. Anyway, back and forth, we arrived at a very, very funny situation. Apparently, Mesoma is agreeing to the fact that, okay, fine and good, this was my score. All right, she came out to say, actually, she's a student of Anglican Girls Secondary School in Newi, Anambra State.
Yeah.
So she came out to say, okay, fine and good, this was my score. But apparently, I got this text message from JAM, and when I went to the portal, I saw something else. Right?
Yes,
so
yes.
she was saying that it's not my fault because, again, I sent a message to JAM that they did not reply. Now, in all of this, right, I would like for us to talk about something because I feel like it's very, very important for us to do that. I'm looking for how to attack this topic, and the only thing that comes to my head is, do you think that the desperation that comes from students should be blamed on the parents? Because I feel like there is a desperation here to get into school, desperation to have a high score and, an outstanding result, because then again you get applauded, right? Do you think it's coming from the student because they would like to assume this sort of height amongst their peers, or do you think it has to do with the parents? Would you blame the parents or would you blame the students? Because there is this huge need for success, and it goes both ways. As long as I can buy my way through it and have a very outstanding result, then I am fine with it. Now, students are no longer studying because it is very important for you to study. You now study because you're trying to please maybe the parent, the peers, people who are probably looking up to you.
Yeah.
So you stand outstanding, you become outstanding amongst them and all of that. Do you think the pressure is as a result of, one, the society? Do you think the pressure to have an excellent result is from the parents? Do you think the pressure to have an excellent result is probably from the students and the peers? You get what I mean? Because
Exactly.
I feel like we need to appreciate the fact that if you're doing well and you're probably not perfect and you do not have 100 over 100, you need to be applauded. You need to hear, oh, well done, my child, you're doing well. As long as you're learning and you're putting it into practice, that is outstanding. Because back then when we were growing up, we had parents who would tell you, this person that took first position, do they have two brains? Do they have two brains?
Yes.
Right? So there is this sort of pressure to always come out outstanding. Now you're no longer focusing on doing well. You're not learning to please yourself or learning to acquire knowledge anymore. You're learning because it is very important that you come out on top.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going somewhere with this, but first of all, let me know what you think. Do you think it's the parents, owing to the fact that growing up we had parents who will tell us it is either the best or nothing, so you're not settling for anything? If your child should come at maybe fourth or fifth, you're not even commending that child and saying, well done, my child, you tried, let's keep this energy, and not bash them when they do not do well, or focus on the fact that, oh, okay, you could do better. Rather, you want them to assume the best in every situation. Now let's talk about that. What do you think?
I think the parents first are to blame for this, then the society second. Parents have this way of pressurizing their children. especially into becoming what they want them to be. You say, my son, you are going to be a medical doctor, you are going to be a nurse, you are going to be an engineer, you are an engineer, stuff like that. And you see, when the child that has this kind of pressure from the parents, he or she would always try to see if he could live up to expectations. And sometimes when the parents see that their child is not doing well, instead of encouraging him, they keep making the child feel so sad.
Comparison.
Yes, see this person's daughter, she's doing well. What are you doing? Stuff like that. And I think the society also has their own role to play here, because in our society today now, there is more acknowledgement for certificates than individual excellence, than personal excellence itself. So when someone is in this kind of society, the pressure from the society, the person will be much more desperate to make that excellent result in his or her certificate, other than having the knowledge itself. Thank you.
Okay, that makes lots of sense. So you would target to the parents and the society, and not the need for the student to please the peers, right?
No.
Okay, so it's not peer pressure, it's just family and society. That's interesting, and that's very, very amazing. But then again, let's also talk about the fact that as a student, right, as an undergraduate, while I was still in school, we had situations where this person, I had colleagues they might not be there academically, right? They might not be there academically. Maybe they're not 100% there. Probably they stopped at 50, probably they stopped at 40 and 60. We had those kind of students who would do anything to sort their way through universities. Let's also talk about that. The lecturers, do you think that they're aiding the system? Because you have this person who is probably an average student who is trying so hard to put two and two together, and that's not because they're dumb or they're slow in learning, but because maybe their IQ is not top notch as a particular student. But then again, you have the students frantically looking for how to sort their way through school. Now, do we drag the lecturers into this conversation, or right now it's no longer about the lecturers but definitely about the students? Do you get my question? I'm trying to say that the lecturers, because we didn't drag them into it. Maybe they could be part of the society, but we didn't drag them. Now this student is done being a child, done being a teenager, and maybe through primary, secondary school, they're average students, and of course probably their parents understand that. But then again, they go into university and the lecturer wants to tell them, if you would like to get so and so score, come to meet me, come and pay a certain amount of money, because we need to also talk about that. It happens in universities, in high institutions, and we need to talk about that. Now, should we drag the lecturers into this? Because I feel like they could also be part of the problem, the need for this so much desperation. So literally our conversation today, just in case you're just joining us, our conversation is boiling down to desperation among students, the ones even trying to get into school, the ones that are in school, and the ones that are about to get into school. There's this level of desperation that I don't know, I just feel like it shouldn't be there for any reason whatsoever. Education is supposed to come so smoothly. First off, the parent is supposed to understand that, my child is an average child and this is her level of learning or his level of learning, and be fine with it, and not push them to do
what
more,
they cannot do. Yes.
What they cannot do. So you have a student who is probably not intellectually sound to be in a medicine class, and you're telling that child, this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to be. I have a friend, actually, I was speaking to him yesterday, and he told me he doesn't like his profession. Guess what? He's a doctor. When he told me this, I said, how is that even possible? Because, growing up, we were looking at doctors and we were like, this is the profession. You get, like, you walk with so much majestic and so much pride, yeah? But then again, he was telling me he doesn't like it, that his parents actually pushed him into doing it. And right now, guess what? My friend does not have any idea what he's doing.
Wow.
When I asked him, though, he mentioned that the fact that he's studying, he's practicing here is something that's not cool. But then again, he does not like the profession. So if you should give him an opportunity, he might want to go into the tech industry and do something with himself and all that. So it is quite important for us to also talk about this level of desperation. I don't know now if we should tag it on the parents. Desperation from the parents that now smears on the children because they're trying so hard to please the parents, and also desperation from the students, right, who is also trying to please the parent. And also we also need to talk about the lecturers, because this person is not 100% academically sound to be here, but then again you get to foster their being there by collecting money from them, bribes. Yes. They come to examination hall and they write gibberish, right? And then again, all you just have to do is come and see me in my office. Exactly. Let's talk about the lecturers. I feel like dragging someone today. Let's talk about them, and let's talk about how they contribute to this desperation that is school.
Well, I think on the aspect of the lecturers, well, I will not say all,
okay,
but we say there are, okay. So, well, they also encourage this kind of mediocrity in students. That's just it, because they don't encourage. School itself is something that we say to be competitive in a way that would encourage unleash the potential that is in the person.
Of course.
But unfortunately, it's not that way, especially in most Nigerian universities, because the lecturers are the bad ones. Let me not generalize it. The bad ones are more.
Let's say the corrupt ones.
Okay, the corrupt ones
are
more interested in having money and just giving them grades that way. Okay. So I will also say that they're also part of the pressure, because maybe when the student decides not to. You may say, okay, you think you are different. I also handle your own case differently. So the pressure also can also come from them as well.
Okay. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we will delve deeper into this conversation, because I feel like we need to touch on every angle. We're not only touching on the fact that this child or this teenager is trying to get into school, and the need to be there is very, very important. The need to be where her peers or her his peers are is very, very important and paramount to him. Hence the desperation. We also need to talk about the desperation when you get into school. Like, the desperation never ends. Yes, and it's so exhausting, to be honest.
That's why I told you school is stressful.
Of course, I get it now. So this is Kiddy with a song titled Champagne. We might not have it here in the studio, but guess what? We are popping some champagne to the weekend. Stay tuned.
We outside. Yeah, we outside. We high. Champagne for my pain. I stay in my lane. Every day is my birthday. Wait till weekend. Champagne for my pain. I stay in my lane. Every day be my birthday. It be we did it. Oh baby, we outside. Yeah, we outside. We high. Oh baby, we outside. Yeah, we outside. We high. Body like a panda. The way she move it make a panda. Break it down, make it wiggle like a banda. I want to know what you meet me in the corner. Bouncy, 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 baby. Bouncy, bouncy, ma. Bouncy, 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 baby. Bouncy, bouncy, ma. Champagne for my pain. I stay in my lane. Every day is my birthday. Wait till weekend. Champagne for my pain. I stay in my lane. Every day be my birthday. It be we did it. Oh baby, we outside. Yeah, we outside. We high. Oh baby, we outside. Yeah, we outside. We high. I woke up cute again. Man, I'm a 10 over 10. Guy, yeah me do. Check it out, I call like a 12, yet I dare what say. It's the whole season I play. Shorty, let's go. She said, okay. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, baby, you know we outside. Yeah, yeah, we outside. You know we hide. Oh, baby, you know we outside. Yeah, yeah, we outside. You know we hide. Oh, baby, you know we outside.
Where there's a boss, there is a law. We've created the law for other stations to abide. The new Boss Radio, 98.9 FM. Radio for the boss mind.
This place is rocking and rumbling. Disbelieving. Fantastic.
This thing not be just game, not live. It go carry person up and down. Sometimes it go make you laugh. Sometimes it go make you sound person. It go totori your body. It go charge your body. Everywhere go soft. Now the new football season, GoTV don't arrange to summer you all the better ball for Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, Premier League, FA Cup, and all the UEFA games where carry weight. And Bobby, rush now go collect your own GoTV decoder wey carry 1 month free max subscription for only 9,900 naira. Make yourself balance for front chair. Take enjoy the new football season because now good football we dey talk so. GoTV, love it.
Akwụkwọ nsọ kwuru na nwoke ga-ahapụ nne ya, hapụ nna ya, gbakwuru nwunye ya na ya bụrụ ofu. Ha ga-abụ ofu awụ na imegbu ya na ịkụ nwaanyị ihe, mana ọ wụ iji ịhụ ya n'anya ejikwa n'anya anya. Ịkụ nwaanyị ihe na imegbu nwaanyị anyị ekwesịghị ịkwado ya n'ezinụlọ anyị. Gịnị na-eme n'ala Igbo ugbu a? Elee ihe kpatara ndị nwaanyị anyị na ụmụnne anyị ji anwụ n'ihi mmegbu na ịkụ ha ihe n'ezinụlọ anyị? Elee otu ọ ga-adị gị ma nwa ị mụtara n'afọ ma nwanne gị nwaanyị a na-emegbu ya na-akụ ya ihe otu isi akụ nwunye gị ihe? Biko, ihe ahụ ga-eme gị akụ nwunye gị ihe lepụrụ ya anya, agbanyeghị otu o ji kpasuo gị iwe. Imegbu nwaanyị na ịkụ nwaanyị ihe ọ karịara n'ala anyị. Anaghị ihe a emeela ọtụtụ ụmụ nwaanyị anyị na ụmụnne anyị ndị nwaanyị anwụọla n'ihi ihe. Ndị nwoke ibe m, biko n'ishiri ike awụ na ahụ nwunye gị ma na ahụ ụmụ gị, anyị kwesịrị inyere ha aka, hụ ha n'anya, lezikwana ha anya. Unu akụwala nwaanyị unu ihe, unu egbebula ha. Ka anyị kwụsị imegbu na ịkụ nwaanyị ihe n'ezinụlọ anyị. Ndị wetara ozi a bụ ndị Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. Aha m bụ Evangelist Mike. Biko, udo dịrị unu.
Naija, stand up! As the final 8 club don't show for Naija Super 8 tournament, now the real Jambody won't settle. Which club go waka with the 25 million naira where the first ever Naija Super 8 champion go carry? Make you touchlight all the action live from Mobolaji Johnson Arena on Nikon, Lagos. Action go set from 7 to 16 July. Remo Stars, Casina United, Enyimba, Sporting Lagos, Aqua United, Yobe Stars, Lobby Stars, and Rivers United go tackle themselves. Hey, no be smart, you know. No let person gist you. Sharply go recharge your GoTV decoder. Make yourself follow watch all the match we go share live on top channel 61 for GoTV. Naija Super 8. Football is home. GoTV. Love it.
Lassa fever is a health epidemic in Nigeria, and like any plague, it must be wiped out. Wiping out Lassa fever will require the collective and conscious efforts of you and I. Here are a few things you need to know and do. Rodents and rats are the main carriers of the disease. You can be infected from the fluid or blood of an infected person and by shaking hands with people who are infected. Ensure that your food is properly covered, either cooked or uncooked. Rodenticides should be used to kill rats, while the bush around the home should be cleared regularly. Some of the symptoms include bleeding in the gums, nose, eyes, or elsewhere, difficulty breathing, a cough, and swollen airways, kindly report to the hospital if you notice any symptom in order to prevent people not infected from contacting the disease. In addition, medical personnel should wear protective gloves and masks when treating people who are infected with the disease. Let's stop Lassa fever before it stops us. This message is powered by Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri.
We have 98.9 ways to keep you entertained. Other stations can keep the change. Boss Radio 98.9 FM. Radio for the boss mind.
Pretty face na wash, beauty with no brain. Loving you na scam oh. I swear to God before my hand with you. Ibaje maka when I was it. Loving you na scam oh. Listen up. I gave you my love but you leave and jackpot oh. You be the thing say I be fool. Oh no. But they come my money my house so jackpot oh. You be the thing say I be fool. Hey, I find girl. Where the kiss and tell him in a bole. Oh no no. Oh Guinea, you make on a life for now, Baba. Oh baby, take it easy, oh. Make it change your ways, him in a bole. Oh no no. Oh Guinea, you make on a life for now, Baba. Oh no no. Anene, oh no no. Anene, oh no no. Anene, oh no no. Anene, oh no no. Oh mama, oh no no. Oh papa, oh no no. Oh mama, they got me down now. Oh baby, comfort, don't do me corner. After everything I do for you, she call me brother. When do we my when do we other you? Kulu mama. Oh baby, cool my time. Oh baby, don't do shalai, don't leave far away. Whenever you need me, I'll be there, my G. When we there, I go to your head. I don't kiss and tell. So no kiss and tell. I find girl. Where the kiss and tell? You man a bole. Oh no no. Oh Guinea, you make on a life for now, Baba. Oh baby, take it easy, oh. Make it change your ways. You man a bole. Oh no no. Oh Guinea, you make on a life for now, Baba. Anene, oh no. Anene, oh no.
And that, of course, is Jay Martins with the song titled Kiss and Tell. But that's exactly what we are doing right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM. Campus Drive is the program that you're listening to right about now. And, of course, I'm not alone in the studio. I've got my guest, Boniface.
Exactly. Boniface.
All right, so Boniface and I, we've been discussing about Desperation. Literally, we are trying to connect this incident that happened between Mesoma and, of course, the Joint Matriculation Board, JAM. And we're trying to just look at it from different angle. Okay, let's not even focus on Mesoma, just to be exact. I mean, you've got siblings. I remember when I was writing JAM, it was the worst situation, to be honest. To be very, very honest, I think I wrote JAM 3 times. I did. So the first time I wrote JAM, there was a very, very strong urge for me to get into school because my friends, right, and even my secondary school mates were already like going into school. Yes. So I was just looking for how I could get into school with them. I want to be in school so that when they come back from holiday, I wouldn't feel exactly
I'm
right.
I'm also from school.
I won't feel so off.
Yes.
So there was a desperation on my part as well. So I wrote the first one and I scored one funny score. I'm not going to mention it on air. And then again the second one and then the third one before I finally got into school. Right? So in as much as we're looking at it from different aspects and we're trying to look for where this desperation is coming from and how we could probably not curb it because it might still spark off a competitive desire in the student. The fact that you're desperate to have something can still spark you being competitive. That's on a different side, because at that level I was reading, I really needed to get into school and I was desperate to get into school, and it sparked off a little bit of competitiveness within me. I had to challenge myself to read more. I had to practice more so I could get into school, because sorting was not an option from where I'm coming from. You get what I mean?
I got
so
it.
we are going to look at different angles, but hey, we are still having a conversation. We're talking about literally desperation coming from the parents, pressurizing the kids, their kids to always do better and not even commending them when they just do well. Okay, they don't actually have to be perfect. They don't have to be number one. They could just be outstanding, and that's fine. Okay, you can just applaud them without comparing them to other students, because I feel like this are like the situation right now. So we are going to look at that in-depthly. But hey, if you would like to be a part of this show, you want to make a contribution, the numbers are open for you to call 090-922-29922 or 091-226-77989. I'll take that again, 090-922-29922 or 091-226-77989. And if you would like to send a WhatsApp message, the number for you to do that is 0806 999 2999 0806 999 2999. All right, let's take this call. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hi. How are you? Good evening.
I'm doing well. It's Michael.
Okay.
From OG.
Michael from OG. Are you a student?
Yeah, the one that called the last time and shared his experience though.
Okay. All right. So, go ahead.
Okay. I've heard what has been said. If I'm to be plain and in my own honest opinion,
okay,
it's actually the fault of the parents and those around, because they are the ones that will be like, if it's in our Igbo dialect, they say, you understand?
Yeah.
So that's me myself. I know what I'm going, even outside, though my parents are not like that though.
Yeah.
But I feel that it has to do with the way it's being imposed on the specified person in question, you understand? So if I'm to say anything here, I'll just say that they should just take it easy with them. They just keep encouraging them, not like encouraging them with negative words, you understand?
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. Now I recall you. I remember, thank you very much, by the way. I remember him calling and saying how it's very, very important for him to get into school because he can no longer wait. I think he called like 3 weeks ago or so. Okay. He can no longer wait to get into school. The pressure is getting worse and all of that. And then, in as much as we are looking at it from different angles, we cannot lie. I mean, I just told you about my own situation. Yes. It took me so much. It took me not falling into depression to actually be in school. It was that huge, yeah. So let's talk about the parents. I feel like we should go, from one step to the other. Let's talk about the parents. Now, first off, I want us to look at two things from the parents. Now, of course, our parents loves us. They are caring, they are wonderful, and to be very, very honest, if there is anything they want for us, is for us to be better versions of ourselves, is for us to know ourselves way, way better, right? So let's talk about two different angles from where I'm going to kickstart with. But let's take this call before. Hello.
Hello. Good
Hi.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Excel Wachuku
All
from
right.
Imo State University.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Talking of the parents, I wouldn't call it a pressure because every parent wants the best for their words. And that is why they tend to push you so hard to live up to the standard they want you to. Do you get?
Okay.
So at first, you as a child of your parents, you may view it as they are pressurizing you to study assiduously, not knowing that it's for your own good. And that is why most times our parents will be like, that's your friend that is having first every time. Does she or he have two brains? Something like that. We should not always see it as they are trying to compare us, but rather they want us to fit up. Meanwhile, you too as a parent, you ought to know that if your words, you ought to know whether your words have interest in schooling. Because most of the young girls now and boys, they don't really have interest in furthering their education. Rather, they want to acquire a skill. But in a situation whereby that child that doesn't want to further her education, but you keep pushing her, maybe if the person ends up going to university, he or she may not be doing well. I don't know if you are getting me. So I don't think our parents, we ought to know our children, try to know what they want. Because if we should allow them follow that path they want, I think they're not going to make any mistake. So that is my own view.
Thank you. That is very, 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 very important. Thank you very, very much for your view. Now, she made a statement. She said, I'm going to talk about that quickly and probably have you react to it. Now, of course, like I said before, our parents loves us. Like they're so in love with us, and they want what is good for us, what is better for us. Maybe some things that they did not achieve back then, they just want us to have all of those things. And as cute as that sounds, the fact that you didn't have this kind of life and you want your child to have it can be quite interesting. But as cute as that sounds, it's also very, very important that you let this person, this individual, live a life of their own. If there's some mistakes that they need to make, let them make those mistakes. Projecting what you want or what you wanted to be while you were growing up, but because of some certain opportunities or some certain things you did not get those opportunities, you don't want your child to embody it. It's also very important you also ask that child, is this what you want? Do you want to be a doctor? Not asking the child to go and be a doctor because you wanted to be a doctor but you had no opportunity to do that. You wouldn't know if that's the child's strength or not, but that's on the surface. Okay, I'm going to have you react to everything I'm saying. Now, first off, I said we are going to look at two different angles where parents are probably, or where parents need to do better in terms of desperation, right? Now, the first one is, I think it's very, very important that, the way from what the last caller said, it's very, very important that you do not tear your child's success story because they have not achieved perfection. The fact that your child did not take the first position, and I think this goes down to all parents, not parents who have kids in tertiary institutions and all of that. It goes down to you in the primary school as a parent and all that. It's very, very important that you do not tear your child's success story. I think more than anything, it's very important that you tilt towards your child being progressive and successful. So if your child comes back home and they probably have they took the 10th position, I think what you need to do is encourage them to be better, put in much work, rather than tell them, why didn't you come out first?
Or sometimes flog them.
You get what I mean? Like, why flog them? If they're putting in efforts, how about you applaud them, give them a pat in the back and say, you're doing well, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of the person that you're becoming. You aced this paper, that's so amazing, I'm proud of you, right? Rather than building so much pressure for them to the point where they feel like, oh my, if it's not first position, I'm not going back home. Or if it's not first position, I'm a failure. And that's so a wrong narrative to project on your children, to be honest, because then again, they are going to go ahead in life and feel like, if it's not this, then I'm not good enough.
Yes. And
they're making progress. They no longer acknowledge the progress. They're going to look for perfection. They're going to look for an excelling success story, which is something that it could actually go from step to step to achieving that. Now, let me have you react on that. Can you please say something about some parents who are not satisfied with their child being progressive, but would rather want the child to be on top of the class? Now, would you tag it to be the parents wanting the child to be the best, or would you tag it to be desperation on the part of the parents?
Well, I'll see it from both sides. The parents first want their child. They like you said, they want the best for their children. Okay, so and that's why they will do anything. Sometimes parents even change their children from the school they are, because maybe they will see that this school is not doing better. So maybe that's why. Let me change you. But they even tell the teacher, I change him from that position, maybe because he stays at the back seat. So parents usually want the best for their children.
Of course.
But there could also be pressure, maybe based on past experiences on the life of the parents, or maybe based on people around them. Maybe the parents have seen that his neighbor's children are doing well, so he would also like to meet up, and then the whole thing will then bounce on the child himself. So it's from both sides. It's from the pressure from the parents, right? And it's also the parents wanting the best for their children.
Okay, so in all that you have said now, which of the parts takes the larger portion? Is it desperation or the wanting the best? Because we also need to checkmate the fact that desperation
is wanting the best.
So you feel that's the part that takes the larger portion. Exactly. So it's not usually desperation to want perfection for that child, but the fact that they actually do love the child and want the best for them. Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. I like the fact that we are noting all of this points. Now, it's also very, very important that we talk about the students, right? So now we've got some students right now, probably students like as I was, back then when I was trying to write my JAM, and I just kept on feeling, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not worth it. We just have a few minutes before we round off the show, and I would like for us to speak to these children, not children, but students. I want us to speak to this prospective undergraduates. Some of them have written JAM, time and time again, and they're literally getting upset, they're getting worried, they're getting depressed because you're not getting into school. I mean, you're in school right now. Yes. I'm done with school, lots of years ago. So I would like for us to talk to them from a different perspective, from different points of view. Now, I would like for you to speak to someone out there right now who is trying to get into school, but is kind of frustrated with the situation around the fact that, I get to write JAM severally, I'm doing my best, but maybe the admission is not forthcoming. Some of them have written JAM for the longest of time. I usually like using my brother, my cousin, as a point of view or as an example, because he has always wanted to read medicine, and he was so focused on it. He's so built on that profession to the point where they're not willing to settle. Some of us get to settle because we're like, we just want to enter school. We are tired of being at home. So if it's not low, bring English, let us study English and be going to where we are going to. The most important thing is to be a graduate, right? So some of them, I'm talking about, prospective undergraduate, some of them would like to settle as long as they're in school, because that's the most important thing for them. So I would like for you to speak to them. I would like for you to say something to them, something coming from a space of experience. How many times did you write JAM?
Well, once.
Wow. Okay, so I would like for you to speak to them from a place of experience, and I'll definitely do the same. So go ahead.
Well, first, I believe what all of us want is success in life. So not success in academics or success in writing JAM and passing JAM. but the end point, the bottom line, there is success in life. And the road to this success, there are so many doors. I'll put this. There are so many doors to this success. So if door A is not working, you go over to door B, and if door B is not working, there is C, there is D. There are so many of them. So what I'm trying to say here is maybe the fact that you had something in mind. Okay. Me, it was what I put in my jam that they gave me everything. So mine wasn't that stressful that. But first, try to work for what you want. That's what I've always believed in. But when that one is not working, then maybe that's not for you. You just have to simply swallow the bitter pill and find something else in life. Yes, or find some other career that may also be suitable for you. That may also match what you want to do. So that's that's the advice I have. Don't just kill yourself for those because you are desperate. No, that's not life. Like what I said, what matters in life is success in life, not just success in academics. But the end point is being successful in life. Thank you.
All right, thank you very, very much for that one. So if I'm going to come in, this is what I'm going to say, and this is definitely what I'm going to say to my younger ones. This is what I've been telling them, and I'm just going to say it right now. Now, some of us might be way older than I am, and you're still trying to get into school. First of all, I would like to encourage you, and I would like to commend you. Just keep doing it. Education is not scam. It is very, very important. In as much as I am 100% an advocate of learning skills and attaching it with education, because right now we are moving with skill as opposed to education, but both of them go hand in hand. But we are moving so fastly with what can you do. It's not about what you have read. It's not about the degree that you have, or the doctor in your name, the professor in your name. It's usually currently not about that. It's usually what you can do, how you can use your dexterity to good use. What can you do? What can you offer? Which is why I'm always an advocate for learn a skill. Right now you're trying to get into school, and it seems as though admission seems to be a problem, and everything. I would like to just encourage you to learn a skill. Go ahead and learn a skill. Okay, school is not scam. It's very, very important, and it is something that, as long as your mind is still fixated on it, you're going to do it, and you're going to come out excellent. Okay, now this is what I have to say. Please, and please, okay, make sure that in your desperation you do not let anyone get to you, because you're going to have words that are very, very hurtful, annoying and hurtful, comparing words that are really not good. So parents, if you're in a habit of comparing your child with someone else who is probably in school, or maybe comparing them with, this person has so and so, you do not have anything, I would actually ask and plead with you to desist from that act. Please stop it. Okay, stop it. Do not do it. Do not repeat it. Do not do it. And also, for you as a student who is planning to get into school, you probably wrote jam severally, and someone is out there teasing you about it, making you feel less of a person. Now I'm going to give you a juice, and I hope that you sip it to your enjoyment. Some persons who are in the university are not doing anything in the university.
And she's not lying.
They are not doing anything in your university. What they're there to do is to collect certificates that they probably paid for with money. Thanks to some lecturers, and they're out of the university. So trust me, they're not living better lives than you are. I promise you. Trust me on this one. So please do not let anyone pressure you.
It's stressful down here.
It is. Let's not even talk about that. You're going to get to that stress point, and it might end up being good. But please do not let anyone pressure you. Please do not let anyone make you feel desperate. If it's to go learn a skill while you await your admission, go ahead and do that. Okay, you're not less of a person because you're not there. See, truth about success is the fact that as long as you're doing you, and you're focusing on being better version of yourself, and you're not comparing yourself with anyone. If there is anybody you need to compare yourself with, it should be your past version and your present version, and you see where you want your future version to be. That is the only comparison that actually matters. Okay, so you compare yourself with your past version to the present version, and you keep going forward. That way you do not look around and you say, oh, this person is doing way better than I am, this person is, you know, in school and they're doing way better than I am. No, you're focusing on the fact that you are first to reckon with, and if admission comes, and when admission comes, you're going to do way better. Learn a skill while you're at it, learn other things while you're at it. When your success story comes, it's going to come in a very, very wonderful manner. I don't know how to do pep talk usually, but I hope this serves for you. Coming from someone who wrote Jam 3 times, the Desperation is nice, sweet sometimes. It's quite helpful for you to be competitive, but trust me, it's not necessary. You're going to get to wherever you need to get to as long as you do not stop halfway. So I love you, and I just hope that you keep putting in the work. Study as much as possible. If you end up getting 230 in JAM, do not say you got 262. Okay? It is fine. 232 can give you whatever you want, and you just keep putting in the work. And also, for some of us who might need to change our course of study because this was not the exact one we were given. Now, I'm going to also say something. I was supposed to study law, but at the time when I got into university, they said, oh, I can't study law because of my cut-off mark or something. So, but I just needed to wait for the supplementary or something. So I decided to just go into the next course that I was offered, which was English and Literary Study. Guess what? Halfway into my 200 level, I was told, oh, madam, come and go back to your law. And I think I was supposed to start from 100 level all over again. I was like, no. English and literary study is hard. How am I going to survive in law? I'll survive. Please let me stay here. So it could just be that English is probably something that I wanted, and I wouldn't know until I got into that profession or rather that course. So it's okay for you to just let it happen. Okay, we love you. We are going to come back next week to come and give you more pep talk. Make sure that you keep your head high. Now, admission you wait for, you don't care anybody, and that's why you need to come with big energy. Anywhere you go, nobody is gonna pressure you. Okay, my name is Faith. You can call me Her Majesty, and of course my guest
Boniface.
All right, Boniface, thank you so much for coming. This is Ladipo with a song titled Big Energy. I love you. Bye.
But you know, big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. Big energy. I know they form gangster, only big energy. I'm all about that big energy. You know you can't run from me. Look, big energy. But you knew that. Look, when you're big, I beg. I never enter gear, but shift, I beg. Swear my aim this year is infrared. When's the last time I missed? My guy, forget. I know you can tell from the confidence alone. Anywhere I sit, you know that's already your throne. Everybody talks, but be careful with your tone. Many have the number, but I only pick the phone for that. Big, but you know that. Dark shades on. I know they see nothing. It's like, oh. Big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. Yeah. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, big energy. Yeah. I know they form gangster, only. Okay. It's okay, it's alright. Mistakes are part of life, but don't you dare mistake my confidence for big picture in mind, taking in small portions. Invest back in my life, treat it like stock options. Best rapper alive, waiting you want to. Best rapper, I stare, they want you. I dare, they form cool, but I aim for the head. Put my heart into these lyrics, see they hit you like lead. This one is for my lifeline. On my lifeline. They can't calm down this energy, you never see anything. Just big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. This one is for my lifeline. Big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. I bet that you heard of me. I know they form gangster, only big energy. When I come through, big energy. Dark shades on, no they see enemy. We didn't come this far to come this far.
If I fly away and go hunting, will you come with? If my head is too big to carry, will you hold me?